fellow Star Wars fans, it is Star out here coming at you with another The Mandalorian review. This time it's for Season 1, Episode 5, titled The Gunslinger. We are officially past the midway point for Season 1. As always, this will include spoilers, so you have been warned. There were plenty of big reveals in this, and for the first time ever, I tried to do an experiment where I watched along for the first time with the camera on me so you can watch my reactions and use it as sort of like a commentary while you're watching the episode if you want to watch it again with me talking over it. So with that being said, this episode brought back a legendary location to Star Wars, Tatooine. This is the first time in the Disney era that we've seen this location in live action, and we haven't been to Maz Eisley quite like this since really A New Hope. So that was huge. Like, I'm pretty sure this is the episode that George Lucas was kind of overseeing Dave Filoni doing just to make sure he's getting things right, because, well, he definitely got things right in this episode. So this picks up where we have a space battle. I love how it just picks up in this space battle. We haven't seen that before in The Mandalorian. It was just one random bounty hunter trying to kill him, and we see that the ship doesn't really have shields for some reason. I guess his shield is shorted out, but we see that he needs repairs. He goes to the nearest planet, and it happens to be Tatooine. So he goes down to Maz Eisley and meets this woman called Peli, who is like the dock master. And I really appreciated this moment because in a lot of the canon books and novels, we see the people flying into these different hangars, and they have these attendants come out and talk about price and stuff like that. So it was nice to kind of see that action. We haven't really seen that in Star Wars. The character of Peli, I thought she was okay. I mean, I thought it took me out of it a little bit, especially there was that whole scene that didn't even have the Mandalorian involved with Baby Yoda, and it just didn't really seem to have a purpose being there per se. Like, it really wasn't much of a purpose. Baby Yoda in general kind of took a back seat from this episode. Unfortunately, he didn't really have any great moments that really stuck out to me. But he does go, the Mandalorian does go to the legendary Chowman's Cantina because he has to pay this woman. He doesn't have enough credits. He has to find some kind of job. He meets this person that's very much like Han Solo. I mean, this character called Toro Calican was in the same exact position that Han Solo was when we see him in A New Hope. So I thought that was a little bit going too far with the fan service. And, to a certain degree, I thought it was like, okay, he's in the same exact position. That's a little bit much. But we learned that this episode is all about the Mandalorian just, showing this guy the ropes. He wants to split the cost so he can pay this woman. He's an honest guy. He's not going to just leave her hanging. And in doing so, they have to go against Fennec Shand, played by Ming-Na Wen. And, well, it's a pretty exciting adventure to get her to take her down. She teaches this guy, Toro, to maybe take out the Mandalorian because he's known on all the galaxy for betraying the Bounty Hunter Guild. So we get through this episode. Mandalorian learns a lesson that he can't trust anybody because even though this guy killed the bounty Fennec Shand, he ended up trying to take Baby Yoda with him. Mandalorian's got to take better care of this Baby Yoda because he can't just have him behind on the ship. This is a wanted being that's all over the galaxy that's being, transmitted with the coordinates and everything else. He's got to be very careful. So this is 2 episodes in a row that we've seen the Mandalorian kind of on his toes because now we have bounty hunters are tracking him from across the galaxy. It's just getting to be too much. He's going to have to go back and try to find who put out this hit, which will probably be the character by Giancarlo Esposito. He's going to have to take out the guy on the top to let this order stop coming down, which I think is a pretty cool idea. But getting more into the specifics about this episode, I think they did a really good job representing Tatooine. Like, it really did an awesome job of seeing these locations like Chowman's Cantina, seeing the pit roads, seeing the dewback, even having a conversation with Tusken Raiders using sign language, which is something that I've never seen before. Now, why does he even know about this? Has he been on Tatooine before? Speaking of Tatooine, I was a little bit let down that we didn't dive into the history of Tatooine more than we did in this episode. We know that the Hutts are defeated, right? So who's in power there? We see the stormtroopers' heads on pikes because they were garrisoned there after what happened with the New Hope. So who's in charge? They're in Outer Rim. In Aftermath, we get the Cobb Vanth, who is like the police officer per se of this region, but we don't really find out anything, which to me was really disappointing. I mean, we know that Fennec Shand worked for lots of different cartels and different things like that, but the main thing I want to talk about is that big reveal at the end. We have a shady character walking with these noisy kind of boots over to Fennec Shan. Now, first off, maybe Fennec Shan isn't dead. I don't think she is. She maybe got stunned. Maybe that's what this guy did. He just stunned her. And now she's going to wake up and tell this character that there's a Mandalorian. So, I mean, Fennec Shan was there to kind of talk about the history of Navarro and stuff like that. But this character, Boba Fett, maybe that's him. Maybe that's him. Is obviously he's not going to have the same armor, right? Because if you've read the Aftermath interludes, there's a character named Cobb Vanth who actually takes the armor, because the Sarlacc pit actually explodes because the sail barge crashes into it and just rends it apart. So now we have the armor that this other pretender has, and what does that leave with Boba Fett? He's going to have his own costume, his own new costume. So, I mean, it doesn't look like you have a lot of armor on at least the lower half of his body, so we're going to see what happens there. But, I mean, that's super exciting. By the way, Dave Filoni directed and wrote this episode, so if anybody's going to have a crack at bringing back Boba Fett, he's already dealt with Boba Fett in the Clone Wars, so it makes a lot of sense that he could perhaps make the first reveal for this legendary character that everybody's been wondering about. You know, we thought that maybe in the episode 1 they would just say, oh, Boba Fett's dead, to get this off the table, to get people to stop theorizing about it. But the fact that they haven't, and the fact that they're on Tatooine, the last place we've seen Boba Fett, I mean, it's been 5 years, so why is he still hanging out there? Is it that hard to get a ship to go off world? Or maybe he just wants to hang out on Tatooine the rest of his life. We don't know, and I hope we get a clear answer to who this character is. I think that this character maybe will be like the person that's going to track down Mandalorian at the end, and he wants the bounty. I guess he's still part of the Bounty Hunter Guild, so if anybody's going to take out Mandalorian, it might as well be Boba Fett, and that'd be one hell of an interesting battle. But that is going to do it for my episode review of The Gunslinger. What'd you guys think of this episode? I thought it was more of an episodic episode. It wasn't much more for the plot, but what it did tell us about the Mandalorian is he's got to always watch his back, especially with Baby Yoda. You can't trust anyone. It shows how he's willing to show people the way. This is the way, but maybe he lets his guard down just a little bit easier. And I like how throughout the season we're learning more and more about the character, and he's learning more about the galaxy himself. Lots of things he's finding very valuable. But that is going to do it for me, Star Raptor. I do these reviews every single week, so if you liked what I had to say, make sure you go ahead and subscribe to the channel, as it does support me. I also talk about the Star Wars Resistance episodes, as well as I have been doing a walkthrough for Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. We are just under 2 weeks to the Rise of Skywalker, so it's the best time to be a Star Wars fan. That's going to do it for me, Star Raptor. Thank you so much for watching, and may the Force be with you always. Thanks for checking out the video. Please hit that thumbs up symbol. It helps me know that I'm making content that you guys enjoy. And if you enjoyed this video, I also include 2 videos down below you guys should check out. And please consider subscribing to this channel. It helps support me, and it notifies you guys of when I get new videos up on the channel. You can also contact me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Star Raptor.